Hi everybody,
Hello.
welcome back to our summer conversation.
It's hot outside.
Very hot. We are, where are we? The 15th of June?
Something like that?
Yeah, the 15th of June 2022. And today we would like to talk about natural rhythms, life cycles, which is a very broad spectrum, but we would like to narrow it down with two graphs today. The polyvagal theory, the one we've already discussed before, but we can use in very many different ways. And here is another life rhythm. It's called the Hamer's compass, and which was founded by Dr. Hamer with his 5 biological laws, and we'll come to speak about that during our conversation. So talking about natural rhythms and the nature, life cycles. Let's start with day and night.
A morning, afternoon, evening, night.
It's very natural. In this graph you see this green stroke, and there you have the red, and there is this wave around it. So here we go up in the red, down in the green, up, down, up. So that's a natural, when you get up in the morning, you are a little bit aroused because you have to go to work, you have your morning rituals working, and then when you come home, there's space for relaxation and then sleep, and you get up again, etc., etc. And here you also see the day-night rhythm. But as we all know, there can be emotional conflicts, there can be trauma. So it's a bit disrupted, the natural cycle.
In every possible way.
In every, yeah.
At the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because if you look at where society is going, it's pretty disruptive.
Mm-hmm.
With viruses and war and anything else that's coming up.
Yeah, so we are constantly in a stage of, I try not to be, but we can be constantly in a state of arousal.
Mm-hmm.
So there's an upside, a more disruptive, there's no coming down from it easily.
Or not at all.
Mm-hmm.
Because when I think back to the first outbreak, there was constant arousal 24/7. You were confronted with people who were sick, people who were dying, this fear-mongering stuff going on.
Mm-hmm.
There was no coming down or escaping from it at all.
No.
And before you knew it, one day you went to bed in a virus situation, and the next morning you woke up to a war situation.
Yeah.
And then that started and aroused a lot of people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, and it's not coming down. I think for a lot of people it's not coming down at all.
Mm-hmm.
Because we go from one story into the other one.
Yeah.
And you don't have the chance, or they don't give you the chance to come down.
And we have to give ourselves the chance to come down.
But when you're bombarded with any kind of nasty news that's going on for 24/7, it's difficult to escape for many people from that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we would like to give insights on how this works. We would like to give to expand the consciousness on how this works. So I love these graphs. So you can go up, we have to go up, which is normal, but bringing yourself down is crucial to have a normal sleeping pattern, a normal eating pattern. So in this state of stress, we have to find ways to come down, and we have talked about it.
There are many ways to come down. And I still do think that for many people it's still difficult. It can still be difficult.
Mm-hmm.
Because you also can get used to being aroused.
Yeah.
And then suddenly it's forgotten that you have to come down. It's like the wave is broken somewhere halfway. And then you get a new normal, that the new normal is being aroused.
Yeah.
And you have to relearn of being retaught how to come down.
Yeah, your body starts to talk in symptoms.
Yeah, absolutely.
So people think, why is my heart racing, or why am I experience shortness of breath, or why am I laying awake at night? You start to experience these symptoms, but people don't connect it to stress, because stress is a difficult word. I almost never use stress because people tell me, no, I'm not stressed, I have a headache. Do something about my headache. Don't talk to me about stress. So I've learned in my practice. No, I'm not stressed. So I have learned not to use certain wording. We've talked about language. To not use certain wordings, but to give the psychoeducation. How your body is talking into symptoms, and there's no judgment. I'm not judging this. Let's talk about it.
I think that the body is wiser than you can ever imagine. And there's still, we know a lot about the body and how processes work, but there's still so much to learn. And it's different for everybody. Yeah, we're all human. That's right. So we have a lot of things in common. But still, my stress system is different than yours.
Yeah.
I go off on different subjects than you are. So I get aroused on this subject, and you may arouse on something else. So it's different.
Yeah.
And I think you should celebrate differences as well.
That reminds me that everything also happens during pregnancy and around the time you are born, and that we have the attachment, how you're attached to your mother and father or not, or there are problems. So from the moment you are born, or even during pregnancy, you can have be stuck in an arousal with your neurochemistry can be stuck that way, and then you have health problems in a later stage, and you don't recognize it as being at the start of when you were little. So that's why we all react to different triggers.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's very interesting.
Yeah, I had a conversation yesterday with somebody about my birth and my reactions in this time.
How interesting.
And it's very connected.
Oh, tell me.
It's very connected because my mom went into labor on Friday night, and I was born Sunday afternoon, in the middle of the afternoon, with tangverlossing.
Yeah.
They had to
Pull you out.
They had to pull me out.
Yeah.
Because otherwise we both would have died.
Mm-hmm.
So I was all purple and not a nice birth.
No, not at
No,
all.
no.
Very traumatic.
So, and my ambivalence in this time is also, I want to see what's going on, and oh, please, I don't want to know.
Pull back. Yeah.
Pull back.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And it's something that originated from birth.
Yeah.
I need to come out, but I'm not quite sure if I want to be here.
Yeah. Yeah.
And okay, I came out and I am here and I'm doing my thing.
Yeah.
But there is an ambivalence
Mm-hmm.
which can be traced back
Yeah.
to the birth as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's interesting. Also, that's also a cycle.
Yeah.
Talking about cycles, the menstrual cycle, cycle of pregnancy, cycle of growing up, cycle when things come back. Everybody has certain themes to work on in their lives, or things that keep coming back.
Yeah.
And this is one of mine.
Yeah. And cycles tend to be repeated.
Yeah, that's
So
what I mean.
with a cycle we have to finish before, otherwise we keep on being aroused in the same area.
Yeah. So I call that the slice of the onion. Every time it's the same theme, but every time a different layer.
Yeah.
It's still the same theme.
Yeah. And we have to go through the experience. We have to finish the cycle in order to experience the relief, completion, and then move on. Because trauma or emotions can keep us stuck in history, in the past.
Mm-hmm.
It's an event that happened and we can't move away from it because the cycle hasn't, we haven't completed it yet.
Yeah, but it also can be intergenerational.
Of course. Yeah.
It's not just that you as a person have to complete the cycle in this life, but it's also possible that your son or daughter or can complete the cycle if you weren't able to finish it.
We can do it for a whole generation.
Yeah.
And we can stop it from repeating, which is a very, it's a difficult task, but a beautiful task.
Mm.
Yeah. Mm.
But there's so many cycles, and if you start listening to science, or when you make science your new belief, instead of the biology of cycles, then you miss the cycles of life.
Yeah.
Because you only get to see this bit where science is focusing on.
Yeah, it's not holistic.
No. So there's a beginning and an end somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
And then a new cycle can start, beginning, end.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And I think everything is a cycle. When you look at nature, it's not just the day and the night, but also spring, summer, and so on.
Mm-hmm.
Full moon,
New moon.
new moon, menstrual cycles.
Yeah.
And in Hinduism there are cycles of life, like you're a child and you start learning what life is, and then you start procreating, making a family,
Mm-hmm.
and then you have a phase of sharing your wisdom when you're getting older, and then the cycle of death,
Mm-hmm.
which is also a cycle in itself.
Yeah.
And I think that's a wonderful way to look at life. To know in what phase you are, and to see what can be done within your own theme, and to be as natural as possibly can within this cycle. And of course there's also cycles in astrology and in human design.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think it's important to find out what your themes are, so you can work not to get rid of them, but to work with them.
Yeah.
Within the space you are in, within the phase of the cycle you are in, because every phase asks for a different approach as well.
Yeah.
At least that is how I came to see it.
Yeah. And it all comes down to knowing yourself.
Yeah.
And with that, I love it when you say you work with the energy instead of working through all your resistances. You can skip that.
That's exhausting.
And go with the flow.
That's unbelievably exhausting to fight your resistances.
Oh.
I tried that, really, I did.
Yeah, who didn't?
Not working. Yeah, really not working. I think it might just be better to sit and see, okay.
What does work?
Resistance, okay. And carry it until it starts to dissolve, instead of banging on it. Because when you start fighting it, it gets bigger and bigger and becomes more nasty every day.
Yeah.
It's not working.
No.
It's just not working. Yeah.
I love about maturity and doing this work. I've doing this for over 20 years. Is that when you meet resistance, I don't get aroused anymore. I don't panic, or I don't get. I say, oh, how interesting. Just laying things on the table and looking at it, just widening perception, give things space and looking. I love that.
And I think it's wonderful what you're saying. So giving space to the perception, because I'm getting more and more the feeling that the world we're living in now is purely perception.
Yeah.
You're being talked in to a certain kind of perception, and every other perception is wrong.
Yeah.
So it is perception. I think everything is about perception.
Yeah.
And therefore also about language, because you create a perception through language. And if you're not allowed to speak certain words, or a certain, or you have a different perception and you want to express it, that's problematic at the moment.
Yeah.
That's really a problem at the moment.
Because it is problematic for the people who are very perceptive to language. You have people who are perceptive for language, people who are more visually inclined, hearing, feeling, and people who are rational.
Yeah.
And there are also combinations.
Don't you think that that language triggers everybody? Maybe language can trigger feeling, or when you use certain language, somebody can get some kind of vision, or.
Yeah, but when we talk about people can say something. What it's about what it does in your system, how it falls on you.
Yeah.
And why I think, because we both have birth trauma, you're not so it's not one-on-one, but my experiences with the people who have been traumatized in early childhood are not as perceptible to this language, to what is happening. There is a mistrust, because I think when you're
absolutely a mistrust.
because when you have trust issues, you don't want somebody to lead you in a crisis.
That's true.
We have learned over the years to, when you have trust issues, where do you begin trusting? You have to trust yourself. You don't, and then when it's so hard fought, this trust. So you have your tools, you know how to trust yourself, you know your rhythms, you know, and then when something happens, you still have this in you, so that when you don't trust someone from the outside anymore easily, whatever they say.
That's true. I always get suspicious when certain words may not be used anymore, or when only one narrative is pushed. Then you get my distrust, and it's not going away. When that little seed is planted of distrust, then no. I want to have the freedom to see as many angles as possible of the same theme. And if I'm not allowed to, then my distrust comes.
Yeah.
So who are you to prohibit me from this knowledge?
Yeah.
Why? What's going on? And then I start digging.
Yeah.
Digging here, digging there.
Yeah. And that's how you want to be in ventrovagal. You want to feel safe. You want to have a conversation, be open, be curious, be mindful. So you're in a ventrovagal state, and you want to be in the present and grounded, and not be here in a sympathetic state and start fighting and that sort of thing.
No, it's also not.
And be angry, and you and I have both worked through these emotions.
Yeah, and it's also not about being. I'm just curious. It's not about fighting.
No,
I'm just curious. Like, I want to see as many angles as possible, and when you prohibit me, then I'm gonna start questions.
Yeah.
Why? It's not an attack. It's why. Tell me.
Yeah.
Why? Why not being open? Why not being upfront? And if you can't be upfront, then I get a distrust. So I'm going to take a step back and look better and dig deeper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a different road taken.
Yeah. Sometimes I think back at the beginning of this virus outbreak. And sometimes I think, well, they did it like this, and it gave me a lot of distrust. And if they would have been open, what it is, why they're doing what they're doing, being open if measures are working or are not working, you know, then I would feel in a totally different way. But if you start asking questions, and the answer is, yeah, that's how we do it. Or that's state secret. What?
Yeah.
You know, it's not, for me it's not working. Just say you know stuff or you don't know stuff, also okay, but say it as it is. Just don't play with words, don't play with people's minds, don't play with perception. Don't turn everything into a psychological war instead of biology.
Yeah.
Just stop it. Just slow down, take a step back and see what's going on. And give everybody that chance. And I've had a huge problem from the beginning with this fear-mongering. People throwing 17 million people or something. How many do we have in the meantime? Or 80 million? Going up to 20? Why put those people in a stress situation? You know, why driving people crazy? Why playing with perception in every single way?
Because then you can't think anymore.
Yeah,
your
but
logic.
Then you drive people. You drive them up into.
Well, it's very bad when they go into a freeze response.
Yeah.
And you have a shutdown and you become depressed.
Yeah, but look.
Which is very serious.
Yeah, but look around what is happening with the suicides and young people being depressed and suicidal. And, you know, they did a really dangerous job, in my opinion.
Yeah.
It's really a very dangerous game they're playing.
And we can only talk about ourselves. We can't control the people who are perceptible to this, what's going on.
No.
But for ourselves, for our own health, trying to stay ventral is important.
As much as possible.
So we can deactivate as much as possible within within this fear.
Well, yeah, the situation is crazy. I think it's a crazy situation we're in every single way possible.
But you still find breaks, don't you? I find little breaks.
Yeah, of course.
Relaxation and
Yeah.
shutting off or tapping out, what we talked about earlier.
Yeah, that's why I don't have television anymore. So take it out. And diminish the time on social media.
Yeah.
Because you get bombarded with all kinds of stories and perceptions and whatever.
Which can also give this arousal effect.
Yeah.
Can take you into sympathetic state.
Yeah, and I can still come out of my house or being in my house and still feel the temperature of society.
Yeah.
And I know my body is reacting to it, so I have to do stuff to get back.
Yeah. Yeah. Self-care.
A lot of self-care, a lot of alone time, a lot of rest, a lot of being in nature, a lot of creative undertakings, all possible ways to take it down.
Yeah.
Take it down and slow down like a little snail. That goes very, very, very slowly. Slower than slowly.
Yeah.
And I think that's also a physical cycle. At least for me it is a physical cycle. As soon as I start to want to go faster, then this body says, no, we made a deal, slow down.
Yeah.
And maybe that's also coming with age, possible, I don't know. But it's a cycle thing too.
Yeah, and I hope in the future that we can all live in our own rhythm.
And that's difficult, because when you look at human design, we live in a world of generators.
Yeah.
who have a lot of energy, who can do a lot of work, who are the builders of society, whereas projectors are don't have that much energy, and they have to be very careful with their energy.
Mm-hmm.
So there's this conflict there as well.
Yeah.
And it's a long way to find out what's working for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Like, okay, I can go this far with you, and then I have to turn back. You
Yeah.
can go on, but I have to
Yeah.
step out.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a different way of energy management.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. So it's a different way of energy management in certain types, but also in humans as well. Because although you're a projector, I'm a projector, there's still a lot of differences as well.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that I don't like, no, I have to say it differently. I like that everything is different and that you can celebrate the differences. And work with the differences and see where they come together.
Yeah.
And it's not one for all.
No, definitely not.
And that's not in physical health, and it's not in emotional health, it's not in mental health.
Mm-hmm.
Everything is different, everything is shaped differently.
Yeah.
Like we're all people, but there's still a lot of differences.
Yeah. But staying connected is, we are wired for connection,
Yep.
as Brené Brown says. So the staying connected is very important. And I love people who are very active or who talk a lot. I love to listen. So, yeah. That's the way I like to connect. Oh, tell me your story. Yeah.
And every story is different.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I love to be inspired and yeah. So staying ventral, everybody stay. Yeah.
Happy, healthy, in your own rhythm.
Yeah. A good night sleep and yeah, take care of yourself, manage your energy, find your own way of managing your energy, because maybe you can thrive on 7 hours sleep, maybe you need 10 hours of sleep. Just find out for yourself what works for you, how you can stay in this day and night cycle. And yeah, a lot to talk about, I think, next time, moving forward.
I think so too. But for now, it's enough.
Yeah, so, yeah, we've come full circle.
Yeah.
Okay, so
and
for now.
And all ready to start up a new cycle.
Yeah. So we'll see you next time. Thank you.
See you next time. Thank you for watching.
Bye-bye.
Bye.